Hi, and welcome to the first MK Web Sportscast. Myself, Dan Palmer. I'm here with Scott Kirk, the sports journalist for MK Web. We're just going to be discussing the local scene in Milton Keynes at the moment, starting with Dons, obviously the major team, and it's been a great start to the season, isn't it? Just a one defeat so far. How's it all been going, do you think?
Yeah, they started really well. To say that I don't think there was a right lot of confidence to begin with at the start of the season, with like maybe one or two players leaving and a lot of younger players at the start, and it seems to be going really well for them at the moment. They were very impressive on Saturday against Stevenage. I think one of the problems they were sort of having was not finishing teams off when they should have been, really, and to be 3-0 up after 26 minutes is pretty clinical, so so they seem to have nipped that one in the bud. So, very, very positive from Saturday, and just hopefully they can do the same on this Saturday coming now.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'd look at when the fixtures came out, obviously, and I'd look at the run of games they had, and some really big names in there, the likes of Sheffield United and Peterborough, Bristol City, Stevenage are a good side, and I did worry that they'd get off to a slow start, but hasn't been the case, is it? They've just one defeat, and I think crucially after the Posh game, they haven't gone into a bad run, which I think was a danger. They bounced back immediately, and got a great performance on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that's the danger, isn't it? When you get on an unbeaten run, they're not lost throughout pre-season. They're not lost, only to Sunderland, which you can sort of say fair enough to an extent, and they could have quite easily won that one as well. So, the wheels can come off a little bit if you're not careful, and for them to respond like that is obviously really encouraging. But another one as well, those games, the likes of Sheffield United, I know Sheffield United at bottom, but that's still a tough game to go to Bramall.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Preston, that was away. Peterborough, that was away. So the away, those big teams, they've all been away from home as well, so all those teams who you'd expect to be, challenging up there, have still got to come to Stadium MK as well, which I think is probably worth noting as well. So it's a real positive start.
Yeah, I think I remember having a look at if you look at previous seasons when the wheels have come off, if you like. There's been spells where they've won 1 in 6, or it just hasn't happened for a period of time, and those periods have ultimately cost them. So hopefully we're going to get some more consistency this season.
Definitely.
I guess the main man's been on loan from Chelsea, Patrick Bamford. He's 8 goals already.
Can't really complain with that by October. By the end of September. Sorry, it's pretty awesome.
How good's he been now? He struggled with his loan spells last season. He got a couple of goals, but he's also struck down by injury a couple of times. But this season he seems to have he stayed fit, and he's the only statistic that matters is scoring goals, isn't it? He's done that. So.
But he's been the main man for them. He's scored 8, and he could have scored more. He could have quite easily got a hat trick last week. He could have got a couple of hat tricks, I think, now. So I think that's the way the Dons play. Though, he's crying out for a number 9 like Bamford. With the wide players and that, and I think he's just got more confidence. He's probably used to the physicality a little bit more of that sort of division, and a bit more experience down in League One. The day I can't, to be honest, see him staying really beyond January, because if he keeps scoring like this, the Championship club's going to want to come for him, you'd expect. I know Robinson obviously is trying to keep him, as you would expect from a player who scored 8 goals by the end of September, but he is class, and I guess it's not too much worrying about January. Just if he can keep scoring until January, then that could be the goals that get the Dons.
Yeah.
Don't want to say the P word maybe, but it's that make the Dons do well anyway. So.
Well, obviously, it's been something they've been missing, is this 20 goal a season striker in previous years. I know Carl Robinson will say the goals are spread out around the team, but you do need your prolific front man. And the deal running out in January. Dons fans will remember the example of Adam Smith a couple of seasons ago, right back on loan from Spurs. He was absolutely flying. They actually had him on loan for the whole season from Tottenham, but they decided to recall him, and then he went to Leeds United because they were in the Championship, and they obviously thought it'd be better for his development that he's already proven himself at League One level. Go in the Championship, and I think that's got to be the danger with Bamford. Maybe Chelsea will think, he can obviously play in League One. Let's see what he can do in the league above.
definitely.
So I guess from their point of view, they're wanting to see could he play for Chelsea one day in the Premier League?
Do you think if you're Chelsea, I mean, I know that they can buy whoever they want to, but surely in their academy they have to sort of think of the players for one day featuring in the first team, surely, So, I mean, there is an argument, that maybe he gets a full season in League One if he can bag 25 goals this season. That'll obviously do his confidence the world of good. So there's that argument as well. But I think you're right. I mean, if you're Chelsea, you see, right, it's almost like ticked off League One, ticked off he can compete there. Let's see if he can compete in the Championship.
Definitely, yeah.
So it'd be an interesting one with him. But I mean, I guess you've got to kind of. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen now. He could get crocked, and then I mean,
you never know. Yeah.
But at the moment, it's been absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure they'll just want to try and continue that for the next couple of months, really.
Yeah, I think personally, I'd say staying down in League One for the season, getting a load of goals, maybe promotion would be better for him than
him as an individual. I think,
than going here, there, and everywhere. But I guess we'll have to see.
Chelsea, don't it? Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. Some more news this week. Anthony Kay is going to be out for 12 weeks with undergoing hip surgery. So. How big a blow is that? He's been solid by all accounts.
That is a blow, definitely. He's been so solid. I mean, I know last season, and a couple of the players and Carl Robinson have been saying, he was having these discipline issues. Obviously, if you get sent off 3 times in the season, that's you're obviously going to have discipline issues there. But it's not even been booked, I don't think, this season. He's been rock solid this season, and I think they will miss him, but Tom Flanagan's going to replace him, which I think is good it's going to be good for his development, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering if Otsembor could have come in, into that centre back role. Because otherwise, when you look at Williams and Flanagan, they're sort of tall. Are they, really sort of strong? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure they are, but you look at Otsembor compared to Flanagan. Otsembor's obviously a bit of a bigger sort of guy. But I'm glad Flanagan's getting a chance. It's good. And that's that policy that they keep him with this youth thing, which is great. But I think it'd be interesting to see how Tom Flanagan does. I mean, it was weird for him last season having promotion and relegation in the same.
Yeah, absolutely. With up with Gillingham and down with Barnet, wasn't it? Just 2 loan spells. So.
I wonder if any footballers ever actually had that. It'd be interesting to see that.
I'm not sure. Maybe
It'd be an interesting one, but I think it's good that he's getting his chance really, because he's had his injury problems this season as well. But Kay will be a miss. But if Flanagan can come straight in, and if he can do all right,
Flanagan when he has been given the odd game, he's never had a run in the team. But when he has played, he's done well. He scored a couple of spectacular goals as well. I remember one away at Colchester, a nice volley, and quite a good volley at Notts County as well. So and he was given the number 4 shirt, wasn't he? Which at the start of the season we all thought. Is he going to be the first choice even with that number? And then was it the Preston game this season? Otsembor did come inside and play centre back, and Flanagan was overlooked. It's going to be a big period for him to try and stake his claim.
I think a couple of seasons ago he had a couple of games, and I know he was out on loan last season, but now's a good he's got to take his chance now, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Robinson's saying he could be a future captain at the club. Centre back's a good position for your captain. I think it's in the ideal position to have your captain really as well. So I've seen him in a couple of friendlies, but I've not seen him in first team action. So I'm really looking forward to that on Saturday, seeing how he copes against Gillingham.
Yeah, obviously, like I say, Gillingham on Saturday. They had their first win of the season last week. Maybe not the best time to play them. They're going to be full of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your first win, if you're not going to get any confidence from your first win, you probably won't. Just throughout the season. So they won the league last season. So I've been quite surprised how they've started. Really.
Yeah, same.
To have won the league like they did last season. I think they won the league, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And for them to have not won yet, it's quite surprising. So I think you're right. It could be probably not the best time to go play them, but it's. It is such a hard league this season, though. It's such a football cliche, but there are no easy games at all.
Yeah.
It's not like. When there's Preston's and Sheffield United. Sheffield United are bottom. I think that says everything. Really.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
They should be bottom as far as I'm concerned.
I think there's good times to play teams and bad times. It can really shape your season when team when the fixtures fall, if you like. I think the Sheffield United game came at a very good time. I can't see them continuing to struggle for the whole of the season.
No. So
maybe this game's coming just at the wrong time. But
well, you look at Leyton Orient at the beginning of the season. Leyton Orient, where you wouldn't think would have been as hard a game as it's now looking when they've not even lost. So I don't think anybody saw that from Leyton Orient. So
no, absolutely not.
You've got to. I mean, there's a lot of luck in the game, to an extent, and you've got to hit teams on when they're. If you can hit teams when they're on the low patch, then I think you're right. But it should be interesting for David Martin as well.
There's a couple of interesting factors, isn't there? Martin Allen, obviously former Dons manager, now Gillingham manager, and David Martin coming up against his brother Joe, who scored a free kick last weekend. So it'd be interesting if there's any Gillingham free kicks with Joe trying to bend it in.
I think he plays at left back. Whether he's left-footed or not, I don't know. But if there's any 20-yard free kicks, that really is going to be interesting. It's similar with the Bulldogs, I guess, when Dons played Bristol City. But that will be an interesting one. That for Martin Allen, that's great for fans as well. Martin Allen's a bit of a character of the game as well, so I'm sure there's bits of banter going on. Around. I'm sure fans will have plenty of banter for him.
The Martin family, what are they hoping for if Joe goes clean through and David's coming out one-on-one? What outcome do they want there?
Yeah, definitely. It could be an interesting one, that. But I don't know what I'd do. I mean, I don't have any kids myself, so I don't know. But if you've got one of your kids playing on one team, one on the other, I can't imagine. Especially if they crunch each other.
It's a strange one. Just finally on Dons then, looking a bit further ahead, Tuesday night there's the second round of the Johnson Paint Trophy, a tournament Dons have won in the past. What do you make of this competition? It's loathed by some, and others like it a bit more.
So it is a sort of Marmite Cup in a way, isn't it? Some teams. I think a lot of it is if you get past the first round, you're sort of thinking, right, we may as well try and make a go of this now. I think if you get knocked out in the first round, you're probably not as bothered really. But once you make it through that first round, I think it's a case of right, we may as well try. It's an opportunity to go to Wembley, So it should. I mean, for the fans especially. I mean, look what happened when they won the Johnson's Paint. There were 25,000 fans going to Wembley. So it shows how much it means to the fans, to get a trip to Wembley.
That's it. The team's down at this level. Unless they progress through the leagues, which will take a few years, and the trip to Wembley is not really going to happen. Like I know Bradford got to the League Cup final last season, but it'll be a really special thing. I think you're right. If you get knocked out in the first round,
it's not like the FA Cup or the League Cup where the financial reward is bigger and that, and you've got the chance to appear on TV and stuff like that. It's only really in the later rounds that you do that, but might not go for it. It's competition. So.
Yeah, I guess the worst time to be knocked out would be sort of now, like the second or third stage, because you've wasted some nights and some players are a bit more tired, but haven't really got anything to show for it for the end of the day. So
this is why, this is a great. I mean, I don't know what the rules are with this now, but I think for games like Johnston's Paint, I don't see why not get some of the younger players in. Get some of the. It's a great opportunity for the younger players to have a game. Get that stadium atmosphere. And that the pressure's off a little bit because you're not going to lose any points if you lose. So but I mean, there's so much criticism of teams that do that, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. You can't actually make too many changes. I remember you have to keep a certain number from the weekend's game. I remember there was a famous incident with Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was. Brought their goalkeeper up. They subbed him off after a minute of the game. So he had played, but so there's people getting around it like that. But it should be an interesting tie. Stevenage played them just the other day and won. They'll be looking for revenge on their home ground. But I
always find it strange when the teams play each other so closely together. It's. I mean, how do you go into the next when you've only played them 10 days before? You almost don't need to scout them. But then again, they've just won 4-1, so Dons have got to be careful of complacency.
You're not sure what they would have learned from the sort of lacklustre Stevenage performance.
Stevenage didn't really provide much in that game for me. The Dons in the first half in that game were unbelievable, in fairness to them. So they really were.
We'll watch this space on that one. Move on to MK Lightning now. All change down at the ice hockey club. Obviously, refurbishment at Planet Ice means playing in Coventry. Do you think that will affect them?
I think it's
got to be strange playing not in your own city, a different rink.
Well, you to travel for what, an hour round trip, is it, or 2 hour round trip for your home games is like, I'm not Coventry and back from Milton Keynes. That'll be what?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So it's not ideal, but I mean, if they can beat the reigning champions last week with hardly any training sessions at all in this brand new ground, they should be able to beat anybody there. Really, I know they're not going to the course of the season.
Yeah.
So, but they beat Guildford. I think that was at home. Last week. So if they could do that with hardly any training behind them, then you'd think, right, well, we can beat anybody now. They'll have been really disappointed with last weekend to lost twice, because by all accounts the defence was a bit of a shambles in the first half. But if you've only been together for a couple of weeks, you're not going to have, with the defence, you need to be on the same wavelength as each other, don't you? Whenever any sport for defence, and you've only been together a couple of weeks, they're not going to necessarily have that straight away. So, but I mean, they've got to try and bounce back from that, because to go from 2 wins to 2 defeats like that.
Yeah, I think last season there was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde campaign. Victories followed up by defeats. It was a fantastic start to the season to beat Guildford, and they won the double last year, and they beat Bracknell as well, and then a couple of defeats to Basingstoke Bison. Hopefully, it might take a bit of time to gel with a few new faces. One thing's for sure, though, I know the Lightning's fans are superb, and they'll follow the team up to Coventry, and that could be a big factor in the temporary home.
I mean, that's what it's going to take, a lot of that. That's one of the things that will make it seem a home, if loads of fans can get up there, for the games. That's going to be massive, I'm sure, for the team. Going back to the Dons, the fans in the second half of that game were absolutely sensational. Just chanting MK Army all the time. And if Lightning can get something similar, if the fans can, it's not ideal for them, but if they can just get that atmosphere going, it's going to be such a massive boost for players. It's got to be.
Yeah. And fair play to anyone who gives up their Saturday or Sunday night to go up to Coventry. And just to round it off, a few brief things to mention. Milton Keynes and Bletchley both going well in the rugby in the Southern Counties North. Bletchley top of the table, and Milton Keynes second, so we could have some local rivalry for promotion. It'd
be great to see, if that can continue throughout the season. I think did Bletchley get relegated last season?
They did, yes. So very unluckily in the last day of the season. I recall you saying that they're sort of. They needed a lot of other results needed to go against them, and they all went against them, which is. But they've started well, and I'm sure they'll be there and thereabouts.
Certainly great from our perspective if Bletchley and Milton Keynes can battling for promotion with each other. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. I've got local Olympian table tennis player Andrew Bagley. He's off to the European Championships, so we wish him well.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think it's similar to Davis Cup situation, which they've got in the table tennis. They're trying to get England, and it's England, not Britain, I should say. But I think they're trying to get them back into sort of the top tier, which will obviously be brilliant if England can get back up there. And I'd be quite intrigued to see how that develops as well. These European Championships on Friday, so they seem to get around these table tennis players. The Bundesliga, and going to China, and
he's all over the place.
So he's all over the place trying to do his thing for England, which is great. So, but I'll be really really intrigued to see how that goes, because I think if they beat Turkey. And I think they'll face Romania in the team. I'm not sure about the singles, but if they beat Romania, I think they then go back up into that top tier.
Yeah.
So, if they can do that, obviously that would be.
Which would be great. And if you ever get the chance to have a hit with Andrew Bagley, then it's a good experience. He couldn't return serve. It was the amount of spin he put on the ball.
Unbelievable what I can do it, because there's not even any power, is it? It's just spin it and you just can't return it. So. Yeah,
and another one of MK's Olympians, Ian Stannard, at the World Road Race. And there's a bit of controversy because the Great Britain team, they all withdrew during the race, including the likes of Chris Froome, citing the weather and people crashing, and I don't think that went down well with the manager.
It's a strange one, really, that. I mean, I guess, the safety of your riders has got to be first and foremost, obviously. But if they've did they do 80 miles of it?
Yeah, various amounts of the races.
So I mean, depends if they're worried about the conditions, I'm sure they should have been pulled out a lot earlier than they actually were, maybe. But once you're in the race and you're getting toward the end, the final stages or whatever, you'd expect them maybe to just carry on. But it's a difficult one, because you got to. Again, you don't want to be putting your riders at risk when there's not so many other events going on.
No.
But yeah, it was a bit odd. I don't really know what they're thinking is there and what's properly happened there. But it was a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that will wrap it up for today. You can follow us on Twitter at YourMKWebSports and online at www.mkweb.co.uk/sport. Thanks very much. And see you next time. Cheers.